Does that look familiar to you?
What's this?
It's a picture. What's on the picture?
Pizza box?
I've got you identified holding that pizza box, shooting somebody. It's pretty crazy. I would strongly suggest you better start telling us what the hell happened, because right now you are on the hook for an attempted murder with a firearm.
This is 22-year-old Alejandro Rivera. Right now, Alejandro is sitting in this interrogation room for an attempted murder, a murder that was committed with the help of nothing but an empty pizza box.
Because I have you identified as shooting a guy twice in the chest, holding a pizza box, knocking on a door.
And right now, Alejandro does not know that the very man he tried to kill posing as a fake pizza delivery man is still breathing, and he will tell detectives everything, putting this tragedy to rest once and for all.
I seen the pizza box when I first opened the door, and I assumed the gun was in the pizza box.
The person that was shot is in a wheelchair the rest of his life.
I came here to do a better life. I never done that kind of stuff.
Well, unfortunately, the better life just got a lot harder.
Around 2 a.m. on February 1st, 2011, police officers in Orlando, Florida received a distress call from Nancy Guyot that her 28-year-old son, John Wesley Guyot, had been shot. Within minutes, first responders arrived at the scene, only to find John lying in the doorway of the apartment, with a gunshot wound to the chest and an empty brown pizza box outside in the grass. A pizza box that would become one of the most important pieces of evidence in this story. Because when asked what had happened, Nancy told officers that she had heard a persistent knocking at the door, and when John tried to answer, she heard someone say, "Pizza, mother effer," after which 2 shots rang out, and John fell to the ground. At first, police officers struggled to piece together what had happened. Witnesses said they heard the shots and saw 3 people jump into a 4-door Honda Accord and speed away, and the only person who could truly explain what had happened was unconscious, fighting for his life. Luckily, when officers gathered statements, a witness told officers she had seen 3 men approach the door posing as pizza delivery. She also revealed that a Hispanic man wearing a red hat and carrying a pizza box stood closest to the entrance and identified him as the shooter. Using this tip, they honed in on a certain individual they believed matched that description, Alejandro Rivera, or Chucky, as he was called. Without delay, he's brought into the station for further questioning.
Seat right there. Same guy right here. You guys can step front and do it. Okay. Alejandro, can you spell your last name for me?
B-E-N-A. Maybe.
B-E-N-A.
Maybe.
That's your full last name? Do you have like a second last name?
Yeah, my mom. Rivera.
For the next few hours, he is going to try and convince investigators that he has nothing to do with this. But for now, he's left alone with his thoughts, seemingly unaware of the real reason he's at the station. Meanwhile, as officers secured the crime scene and gathered statements from the witnesses, the 28-year-old was rushed to the hospital, where he went through a series of surgeries as doctors attempted to save his life. Fortunately, he survived, but was left paralyzed due to the extent of his injuries. And at this point, detectives finally get their chance to question him as they try to figure out who Chucky is and what his role is in this horrific crime.
On February 1st, just before 2 a.m., around 1:50 in the morning, where were you and what were you doing?
I was sleeping on the couch in my mom's house.
Okay, and is that a 1-bedroom apartment?
Yes.
So you've been living kind of on the couch in the living room?
Just when I was on home confinement.
How long had you been there?
2 days.
Okay, and this was, I believe, Monday night going into Tuesday morning?
I believe, yes.
Were you asleep yet?
Yes.
And what happened? What'd you hear?
There was a knock at the door. I was sleeping. I got up. I looked at the peephole. I stood there. I didn't see nobody. There was another knock. I looked out again. I seen a red baseball cap. I unlocked the door. I looked outside. I opened the door. Looked to my left. I seen 2 people standing there. Then I pushed the door open a little bit more, and it was a person behind the door with a red cap with a pizza box. Ain't nobody said nothing. And I just turned around for one moment, and I got shot.
John was in home confinement at the time of the attack, and according to him, the knocking was completely unexpected as they didn't have anyone visiting. His father was still sleeping, and his mother, who was right behind him, had gone to peep at the window when no one responded to him. But before they realized what was happening, John had been shot.
Did you recognize any of the men at the door?
No.
How many did you see total?
3.
Can you describe them to me?
There was 2 people to the left, was one chunky dude with a gray sweater, blue jeans. The other guy I don't remember. And then the guy behind the door with the red baseball cap. He had a gray sweater on.
A gray sweater?
Yeah, a gray sweater on too, and blue jeans with a pizza box in him. I guess the gun was in the pizza box. I heard it. I heard the.
Did you ever see him produce the gun when you were looking at him with the pizza box?
No.
You just turned away and got shot?
I turned away. I guess when I looked to my left. He was standing up, that pizza box behind the door. I seen the pizza box when I first opened the door. And then I guess I never seen the pizza box after that. And I assumed the pizza box, the gun was in the pizza box because I heard the pizza, like something moving in the box, but it didn't sound like there was pizza in there because it sounded like the pizza box was empty.
Did you hear them say anything about the pizza box to you?
Mm-mm. Nobody said anything to me.
Okay, so you didn't hear maybe what your mother or what your neighbor might have heard them say about the pizza box?
Nobody said anything the whole time.
During the investigation, John's mother told detectives that the words she heard before Pizza Mother Effer were said in a Hispanic accent, the same accent as the person the detectives had in their custody.
I spoke with my bonds. They said I paid the bond.
Oh, we'll talk. Stand up for me. Turn around. Let me take this. Have you got anything in your pockets at all? Nothing whatsoever?
No.
Okay. Except for some coins.
But John, who was immediately thrown into a traumatic state after being shot, said he didn't hear anything. Instead, he vividly remembered the image of a young man in blue jeans, holding an empty pizza box and wearing a red New York Yankees baseball cap.
You're describing these guys in their clothing. Can you tell me if they were white, black, or Hispanic?
I know 2 of them were Hispanic, and I don't remember
The heavyset guy in the sweatshirt, the gray sweatshirt, was Hispanic, and the guy with the pizza box and the red hat was Hispanic as well?
Yeah.
And then there was a third man, but you didn't really get a good look at him?
At all.
Or his race? Okay. And you never saw the weapon any of them had? How did you know it was the guy with the pizza box that shot you?
Because
where he was standing?
I guess he produced it when I looked to the left.
This same pizza box was shown to the suspect at the station, but it didn't seem like they had any connection.
The girls people house.
Does that look familiar to you?
What's this?
I'm asking if it looks familiar. It's a picture. What's on the picture?
A stove and a pizza box.
The pizza box, right?
Uh-huh.
Does that pizza box look familiar to you at all?
I don't know. Hot and delicious. Make just for you. A pizza
Do you get pizza in a pizza place like that?
Huh?
You ever get a pizza box delivered to your house like that?
I don't know.
You don't know. Who do you order pizza from?
Sometimes Bravos.
Do they deliver like that?
No.
So you don't remember a pizza box like that? Now I'm talking about 2 a.m, pizza box, apartment complex down on Conway, nothing's jogging your mind?
No.
Nothing? Okay.
Now let's go back to John for one final time, as he continues to provide a description of the shooter, where detectives hope that it matches Alejandro.
Let's talk briefly about the guy with the red hat. Is he shorter or taller than you?
Shorter than me.
Shorter than you? What would your guess be?
Probably like 160 pounds.
5 foot what? Or 4 foot what?
5 foot. 5'6", 5'5".
Okay, maybe 106. Medium build, regular build,
He was skinny. It was probably 150 pounds.
skinny.
Yeah, he was skinny.
Could you see his hair at all?
No,
Do you remember any facial hair?
he had no facial hair.
Okay. Was he dark Hispanic or medium?
He was light.
Light? Okay. Nothing was said. You mentioned that, so I can't ask you about accents. Has anyone around you told you who they think this is that did this?
I heard some guy named Chucky, but
You heard a guy named Chucky did it?
yeah, that's all that I know.
Can you tell me who you heard that from?
There's people talking.
Talking to you or to your family?
This is something that I heard.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
No.
Shortly after this conversation, a photo lineup was assembled and shown to John. From these images, the suspect he identified as the one in the red hat and holding the gun and pizza box was a familiar face, 22-year-old Alejandro Rivera, the very same individual that officers had received the initial tip about, and is currently in an interview room waiting to be questioned. Now armed with this identification and story from John, they are ready to get some answers out of Alejandro.
My name's Detective Joe Capice, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm with the Orlando Police Department's Violent Crimes Unit. Start off with some simple questions so I know who I'm talking to. All that good stuff. Okay. Today is about April 14th, 2011. Today is Wednesday. Thursday. Thursday all day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, my name is Detective Joe Capice, and your name is?
Alejandro Benavi,
Spell it for me. How old are you?
22.
Where were you born?
In New York, but then I lived in Puerto Rico with my family.
Okay, you were born in New York?
Yeah, in Queens.
Okay. How long you been back in Florida?
Florida, I just got it
I should say back, yeah.
9 or 10 months here.
So New York to Puerto Rico to Florida?
No, New York, when my mom died of cancer when I was 7,
Mm-hmm.
I went to Puerto Rico with my dad. And then when he died, I came over here.
What year was that?
He died 2 years ago, but I came like 10 months before I go.
Okay.
10 or 11 months.
So you've been here a year?
Almost.
Almost a year. Do you have a Florida driver's license yet?
No.
ID card?
Yeah.
Do you have a Florida ID card? No Florida ID
No.
card? Why haven't you gotten a Florida?
Huh?
Why haven't you gotten a Florida ID
Oh,
card?
because I was going to get it, but since now I got a job.
Okay, so you didn't think you needed one until then?
No, because I had no money, nothing.
You know, I almost forgot.
Started.
Because of where we're at, you know, obviously we're at the police station, I want to read you what's called Miranda warnings, okay? You ever been arrested before?
Here.
So
My first time.
First time is, when was that?
That was the 4th of last month.
March? Okay. What was that charge?
Because I don't drink.
Uh-huh.
And I started drinking that Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And then I woke up in a freaking car that wasn't mine.
So they charge you a grand theft
That
auto?
was right. Burglary and conveyance.
Burglary conveyance? Okay.
And that's right where I used to live.
Okay, so that's what the charge is, burglary?
Yeah.
Alright.
I still haven't gone to court or nothing.
Correct.
After reading him his Miranda rights, the detective wasted no time getting to the real reason he was at the station.
So you're kind of wondering why you're here, huh?
Hmm?
You're kind of wondering why you're here, huh?
Yeah, because I don't know. I think because of my warrant, the bond, I paid that.
Okay. I'll tell you, you do have a warrant for your arrest, but it doesn't have anything to do with your bond. Let me bring you back to February 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Early morning. I was at, let me see. First, to bring you back to that date, early morning. Do you remember that day by chance?
February?
February 1st? Does that anything that will stick out in your head?
No.
No, right? Okay. Nothing particular about that day that sticks out in your head? Who's Rosemary Rivera? Who's Rosemary Rivera?
Rosemary Rivera?
Yeah, do you know Rosemary? You never heard of her?
Rosemary.
What's your nickname?
Huh?
What's your nickname? What's your street name?
My street name?
Yeah. Do you have a name? You don't go by any nickname?
Danny.
What's that?
Danny.
Danny for Alejandro?
Yeah.
Isn't that
Because of Danielle.
Oh, because you know me.
Second, yeah.
But Alejandro is typically for Alex, right?
Yeah.
So they don't call you Alex or nothing on the street?
Danny. Daniel, sometimes they call me.
You ever heard of Choky?
Alex. Huh?
Choky? You never call you Choky? You sure? No one ever calls you Choky. You have a MySpace page?
Huh?
You have a MySpace?
On MySpace?
Do you have MySpace? You know what MySpace is?
Yeah, MySpace.
You don't call yourself Choky on MySpace?
Oh, yeah, MySpace, but they don't call me around there.
Okay, but Choky's a nickname for you.
They call me that. I put that in MySpace. Yeah.
Okay, why? What does that mean, Choky? I'm just curious.
Chunky.
Chunky. What does chunky mean? Does it translate? You're not chunky.
I know, but like that, like chunky.
That's what it means? Is that the translation for it? Is it a Spanish word?
I don't know. I put that there when I opened my MySpace.
Huh?
When I opened the MySpace.
Oh, okay. So you put choky
But around there in the streets, they don't call me that. No, that I know of.
Huh. You don't know Rosemary Rivera?
Nope.
The questions the detective asked Alejandro until now are incredibly important. Now, there's not a lot of public information about John, but at one point or the other, he was in prison for an unrelated offense but was released after 8 months. After his interview with the detectives, John told them he suspected his ex-girlfriend, Rosemary Rivera, who was supposed to pick him up from jail but never showed, had something to do with the attack. John believed that after his release, he and Rosemary would still be seeing each other because he had been in contact with her while in jail. She knew he was going to be released to his parents' home and had been to the apartment in the past. His child's mother, Eileen, also knew where he was in home confinement. But other than these two women, no one else knew where he was until the night of the shooting. That evening, Eileen had brought their son to visit him, and as soon as she left, John said he used his mother's phone to call Rosemary, but it was a man who answered. John then demanded to know who he was and why he was answering her phone, but the argument quickly escalated into threats, and according to John, the man said, "We can do this right now," and claimed he knew exactly where to find him.
How about an Ivan? Do you ever heard of an Ivan? You have a buddy named Ivan?
Ivan?
Yeah, Ivan. You don't know any Ivans?
Ivan, yeah.
Ivan, okay, help me out, man.
Yeah,
I'm American. I don't speak with the.
In Puerto Rico, I know.
Do you know any Ivans here in the United States?
Oh, you know?
No. Do you run with anybody?
Huh?
Who are your friends? Who you run with?
With my aunt.
That's it? You run with your aunt?
Yeah. And her daughter.
Do you have any guy friends? You know, buddies, pals, friends? Do you run with a gang?
I got my friend Twan.
Do you run with a gang?
No.
No? Well, we're striking out here, huh? So you don't know Rosemary, you don't know an Ivan or an Ivan here in America, in the United States, in Florida.
I know from Puerto Rico, Ivan.
Okay. And you don't run with any Ivans or Ivans here.
Mm.
How about any Johns? You know any Johns here?
I know a Jonathan.
Up to this point, Alejandro flat out denies knowing Rosemary, Ivan, John, or even his own nickname, Chucky. What he doesn't realize is that detectives already knew he was part of an MOB gang with 6 other people. They had also tracked him online, finding his MySpace profile where he posed in a red hat with firearms displayed as decoration.
Before I waste all my time talking to you, I'm trying to find out if you're going to be very honest with me or not. And right now, I don't think you're being very honest with me just about simple stuff. So if you're not being very honest with me about simple stuff, how can I expect any honesty about real important stuff? Okay? I sat down, I told you I was a detective, and I told you what unit I was from. Did you pay attention to what unit I said I was from? I said the Violent Crimes Unit. Does that mean anything to you?
Violent.
Violent crimes. What would violent crimes be? What do you think?
Fighting.
Fighting violent, or maybe a little bit more? Or what do you think? You tell me. What do you think violent crimes would be?
I don't know.
In your mind, what would be a violent crime?
Knives, guns.
Knives, guns.
Bats.
Yeah. Well, that'd be all pretty violent. So I'm here about something like that, obviously, right? Since I am that detective I just said, I'm sitting here talking to you about some things. Well, that's what I'm trying to get at. All right, that's what I'm going to try to get to. But before I get to the questions with meat on it, the important stuff, I got to see if you can answer the simple ones.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I asked you if you went by Choki or Chuki or anything, and you said no.
You asked me if they call me that.
No, I asked you, do you have a street name? Do you have a street name? Do you have a nickname? Anything like that?
I opened up a MySpace page with a Chucky.
Okay, so people call you that or not?
No.
You sure?
I did that.
Do people call you? That's all I asked. No, people don't know you as Choki?
No.
Or Chucky or Chuki or whatever?
Chucky, but in MySpace.
But that's it, just in
People around there,
MySpace.
yeah.
So who do you hang out with in the neighborhood?
In the neighborhood, no one.
No one.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing that Alejandro is choosing to lie rather than cooperate, the detective decides to question him about what he did the day before the attack, hoping to catch inconsistencies in his story and place him at the scene of the crime.
Pizza boxes are pretty smooth, right? Pretty smooth surfaces.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough, right? You've touched hard cardboard pizza boxes before.
Yeah.
You've held them before.
Yeah.
When you hold something, what happens? What gets transferred onto something solid?
A fingerprint.
Fingerprints, right?
Uh-huh.
Good. Just blurt it out. It's okay if you know it. Fingerprints get transferred onto smooth surfaces, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
What does that have to do?
Just ask if you knew what happened on there. That's all. I mean, I'm just showing you a pizza box. You say you know nothing about it, right? All right.
Pizza.
It's pizza, right? Yeah. There's no pizza in that though. That's empty box. Just so you know. You know, that's a key piece of what's called evidence. All right. It's probably evidence that you may want to start thinking about as you answer questions. So, do you know a Tiki?
Huh?
Who's Tiki?
Tiki.
Tiki. Who's Tiki?
I don't know.
You don't know Tiki? You never heard of Tiki either?
Tiki.
So no Ivan, no Tiki, no, who's that? Rosemary? None of these people familiar to you at all? Wow. What if I tell you Ivan is Tiki? Would you know someone by the name of Tiki? Tiki, Tricky, anything like that? I can't say it in Spanish, so I don't know if there's another, but anything similar to that. You don't know anybody?
Nope.
That goes by Tiki, Tricky, Taiki, none of that stuff.
Nope.
Despite the evidence in front of him, Alejandro continues to deny any involvement. However, the detective isn't buying it and decides to keep pressing Alejandro until he gets a confession.
Well, where we're at now is you got a pizza box, you got an apartment complex down on South Conway, right? 2 a.m, and I got fingerprints. And I got Tiki, Chuki.
I don't get it.
In a
What does that
car.
have to do with me?
Yeah, you remember being down there in a dark Honda?
No.
No. You ever ride in a dark Honda? Anybody got a dark Honda that you hang with? What kind of car does your aunt have?
She uses her mom's car sometimes.
What is it?
How do you call that? Minivan.
Okay. What were you in tonight?
In that car.
You were in a minivan tonight?
Yeah.
So, in the last 2 months, because 2 months is not that long ago, you haven't been in a dark Honda down late night, 2 a.m, down on South Conway? No? You sure?
Yes.
Okay. Because you'd be honest with me, right, if you weren't,
Yeah.
right? If you were in that car, right?
Of course.
Okay. All right, well, then I guess I'm going to be very blunt with you, okay? You remember I said you're here on a warrant, right?
Yeah, what is it?
You're here on a warrant that's issued by the Orlando Police Department, okay? Violent Crimes Unit. And you're here on an attempted murder charge with a firearm. Pretty heavy charge, okay? Fair enough? Pretty heavy?
Why?
Oh, well, that's what I'm trying to get at.
I don't do that kind of stuff.
Okay, well, here's where I'm at. I've got you identified holding that pizza box, shooting somebody. It's pretty crazy. That's what I've got.
Not me.
Not you?
Mm-mm.
Well, remember you
I've
said,
never been charged in my life.
oh no, you're arrested now on it. I mean, so, and you get arrested back in March. See, fingerprints don't show up until people get arrested sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So, kind of interesting, huh? 2 months go
Why?
by, or a month and a half goes by, and all of a sudden, boom, I know who my shooter is.
Okay, why me? I don't get it.
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out. I'm trying to find out from you is who's with you and why did this happen? Because if it's justified or if someone put you up to it, they need to be taking this ride, not you.
I don't know nothing.
So you don't run with MOB?
No.
You know who MOB is?
I've heard about it.
Yeah. You don't have any tats or anything like that? You don't run with them? No.
My mom's name, you can check everywhere. I don't know.
Tats aren't required, just so you know. I'm just asking if you were MOB.
No.
I mean, you would say it, right? Because you'd be proud of it, right? If you were.
I guess, but I've never been in a game.
You never ran with a game?
No.
So you don't run MOB?
No.
And you don't know a Tiki?
No.
You sure?
I never heard about that.
I'm not asking if you heard. I'm asking if you know a Tiki.
I don't know and I haven't heard.
At this point, it is clear that Alejandro is willing to do anything to avoid trouble. So with him stonewalling, it's time for detectives to lay out everything as it is.
Because if I tell you that I know that Tiki was with you when you shot this guy, that would be important, right?
What do you mean that I shot? I don't even... Why are you saying that? I don't know.
Because I have you identified as shooting a guy twice in the chest. Well, shooting him once in the chest, shooting at him twice in an apartment. Holding a pizza box, knocking on a door. No? You've been identified.
Then I don't know. Tell them, because I don't do that kind of stuff.
I have evidence directly putting you there.
No,
Listen, man.
I don't know.
How old are you?
That 22.
You can be over 40 years old before you see the outside of the jail again. So now is the time. I would strongly suggest, if there's somebody else involved in this, you better start deflecting now and telling us what the hell happened. Because right now, you are on the hook for an attempted murder with a firearm. This is 10-20 life in Florida, man. 10-20 life in Florida. You're going to be much older before you see the outside of a prison.
I don't know.
The person that was shot is in a wheelchair the rest of his life. You've been identified by more than one person as the shooter. There's no game here. I'm not pulling any punches. I'm showing you. I flat out showed you what you were holding.
What do you mean me?
I know you were holding it. How would I, as a cop, know that?
I don't know.
There's only certain ways, right? There's only certain ways I would know that.
I didn't do that. I wasn't there. I don't even know what you're talking about. Never.
What kind of hat were you wearing tonight?
Huh?
What kind of hat were you wearing?
I had a hat, yeah.
What kind of hat? A red one?
Yeah.
Red one what?
Huh?
What was on the front of the red hat?
It had Boston, B.
You have a Boston hat?
Yeah.
Where's your Yankee hat?
What Yankee hat?
Oh, don't tell me you don't have a Yankee hat. Please.
I've had before, but
every kid your age has a Yankee hat.
In Florida, I haven't had a Yankee hat.
All right.
Puerto Rico, I've had, yeah, but here I haven't had a Yankee hat.
So you're not involved in the shooting. You know nothing about the shooting. I'm way off base, right?
I don't know.
I'm asking you.
I don't know.
You don't know. You don't know Rosemary. You don't know Tiki. You don't know Yvonne.
You asking me questions I don't even know.
I'm asking you. Do you know any of them?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Do you know an Altuan?
No.
You don't know an Altuan?
No.
Let me explain to you how an arrest warrant works. We can't just write a warrant and present it to a judge on a whim. All right? We have to have evidence. We have obviously pretty damn strong evidence.
Well, what evidence if I don't know?
I showed you.
I don't even do that kind of stuff.
You've been ID'd, man.
How am I going to be ID'd if I don't do that?
This is how you get
I've
ID'd.
never done that in my life. My mom and dad passed away and I came here to do a better life. I never done that kind of stuff.
Well, unfortunately, the better life just got a lot harder.
Well, you guys got me confused because I don't do that.
I don't have you confused. You've been directly put there. I don't have you confused. Put it this way. I know you were there. I know who you were with. I know what you were touching. The only thing is I need to hear it from you.
Well, what are you going to hear if I don't know? I never done that kind of stuff.
The detective has had enough. For 25 minutes, he has listened to Alejandro try and lie his way out of a serious crime in the dumbest way possible. Still, there is a narrow window of opportunity. If Alejandro cooperates, there is a chance his sentence could be reduced. So the detective decides to make a final attempt to get him to tell the truth.
Time is 22 and I'm going off tape. I'm not going to play the game. I'm really not. I'm giving you your one shot. Okay? This is the only shot you get.
Well, what kind
Listen
of
to me.
shot?
Listen to me,
Okay.
Alejandro. Listen to me, man. I'm being very blunt here. This is your one chance to talk about what the hell happened, so I don't have to sit here and play the game.
Oh,
Listen, I'm giving you a chance to listen, okay? There is no other chance. We're not going to talk to you about this case anymore. The next time you'll see a detective will be on the stand against you at trial. All right?
well, I gotta go to trial because I don't know.
That's where you're going to go. I mean, it is what it is. But waiting until then will cause you a lot more grief.
Well, why? If
I can
didn't
make
do
your
it,
life-
I'll come out good.
Listen, I can
Because
make
I
your-
didn't do that.
Okay, I agree. If you didn't do it, you should come out good. The problem is the evidence is pointing directly at you. It is. Eyewitness testimony puts you there.
Okay, well, I gotta go to court because I never do that. I don't do that. I've never been with Tiki, whatever you're talking about. I don't know.
Okay. So you actually would be interested in proving your innocence, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Give me a second. I'm gonna come have a CST swab for DNA. Okay.
Okay.
All right. And we'll go from there. All right. Give me a second. Think about it, man. It's pretty big charge.
Okay, well,
I'm
it's
just
not
telling
me.
you, if something comes to mind, you may want to talk to me about it.
Remember how for the entire interview, Alejandro has vehemently denied ever having the nickname Chucky? Yeah, that doesn't work out too well for him when a crime scene tech comes to take photos of him.
Who's wanted? Your mom?
Okay,
Yeah, man.
turn around, let me see your back. Is that where your tattoo is on your back?
Yeah.
Let me see that. Okay. Turn to a little side. Thank you, young man.
Oh, you even have Chucky on your
Oh,
back.
yeah, it's got Chucky on the back. That's pretty nice there, kid.
But they don't call you that?
No,
Okay, have a seat.
don't call me that. Never. I got a MySpace and all that.
Yeah, but you also have it on your back.
Yeah. You didn't ask me that.
Oh, I didn't. You're right.
With that, the interview was brought to an end. Minutes later, an officer enters the room to take photographs of him, including his left hip and tattoos on his right lower leg and back. A buccal swab was done, and it was discovered that his DNA matched the one they had found on the pizza box. In January 2012, 22-year-old Alejandro Benabi Rivera was tried and convicted of attempted first-degree murder, aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, and aggravated assault with a weapon. He was sentenced to 44 years behind bars and remains incarcerated within the Florida Department of Corrections. As for John Guyot, he is now permanently paralyzed from the waist down, going through rehabilitation and in a wheelchair. Our thoughts are with him, and we wish him the best on his road to recovery. Thank you for watching today's video. Whether you're new here or have been with us for a while, check out one of the craziest cases I've ever covered right here, or one of my newest uploads right here.